What's good?
Hey,
What
Aaron,
up,
what's going on?
How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Right on, dude. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, of course.
I think
Where's the other boys, man?
Yeah, wait on a couple more people. Are you guys in LA?
Yeah. All of us are in LA, yeah.
Cool.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Hey, I wasn't sure. I couldn't hear you for a bit there, but I've never used Zoom, and I figured out how to do the little microphone setting. We're good. We're in. We're ready to go.
Right on, man. I like your lighting.
Thank you. I specifically for this occasion.
Rad. So I mean, just from hearing our conversation before you got on, Nick, it sounds like all you guys are from different parts of the country originally.
Yeah.
So, like, Aaron, where'd you grow up? What part of the country?
I grew up in Wisconsin, and then after I graduated college, I moved out to LA.
Okay. How'd you get into music originally?
I joined a band in college. Wasn't a good band. And then I had an internship with Richard Raines, so I came out here during college for the summer. And then I met Nick online. And then I moved out here and I joined his pop punk band.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
what was the first instrument you learned how to play? Bass?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you always been a bass player?
Yeah, I played a little bit of acoustic, but I mean, I'm not good.
So you met Nick. Nick, are you from LA or where are you from?
I'm from Western New York.
Western New York.
Yeah, like Buffalo is considered Western New York, but I'm like an hour and a half south of that.
Okay. How'd you get out to LA?
Well, Aaron and I met on Facebook, and he's the reason why I met our current managers, Richard and Stephanie. He was in a band, the one that he was in college, and I saw a Facebook post that this band opened for a band that I liked, a bigger, more popular band, and I was like, what? This band's got the same amount of likes on Facebook as I do. Why are they playing with one of my favorite bands and I'm playing at the library to nobody? And so I add all the band members on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and I messaged all of them, and no one responded except Aaron. And so, and I go, dude, he responded, and I go, hey man, so how did you get that show? He goes, oh, I booked the shows to my college, so I just put my own band on it. I'm like, oh,
brilliant.
That's all it took, apparently. And so then we became friends, and he was, he's really supportive when I was doing really bad acoustic music for years as a teenager. And then when I decided to pursue music out on the West Coast, he introduced me to Richard, and then we decided to start making music and join forces.
Right on. That's awesome. How did you get into music originally?
My grandma taught me piano scales when I was like 7.
I saw a girl play Welcome to the Jungle at the talent show in 4th grade.
Nice. I think it was just I always have a piano in my house, but I never really got much better than the scales until like 8th grade. And then I think depression helped a lot. And being alienated in a small town for wearing skinny jeans, I was like, oh cool, I need to find my, something that it wasn't really I had to find it was always there, but that's kind of what it was an escape, and it was an outlet, and it was a passion.
Were you playing in bands at all when you lived in the New York area too?
No one else who played instruments. Like, it's such a small town that like finding a drummer and a guitarist and a bassist was impossible. So I just did my one buddy, we started a band. It was just acoustic. It was him and I playing 2 acoustic guitars. But then eventually my senior year of high school, I found a kid who was 4 years older than me, a kid who was 4 years younger than me, and then a kid my age. And we're like, cool, we're a band. And our ages are separated by almost a decade. But
Exit plan, dude.
Yes, we played mostly pop punk covers in bars.
That's awesome. Pop punk covers in bars, that you said?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Bars that you're not even supposed to be in.
No, but it's a small town that's like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are no cops.
The cops show up and it's like, they're like, hey, where's your stepdad? We're trying to go to the brewery. Like,
Are there any cops?
Billy, where are you from? What part of the country are you from?
Jersey Shore.
Jersey. Hey, aren't you also from Jersey, Schmidt? Schmidt?
Yeah,
You just call me Schmitty?
Schmizz.
You can call me Schmitty. I like Schmitty.
What were you saying? Was it what were you, Schmidt?
Schmizz. It's Schmizz. It's a long. It's a weird story, but yeah, I got Schmizz somehow. It's because my last name's Schmidt, so it kind of derived from there.
Right. Okay. Schmizz. So you and Billy both grew up in New Jersey then?
Cool. Me and Schmidt went to vocational school together, and we actually hated each other at one point.
Yeah,
Why's
because
that?
Billy hooked up. Well, Billy went on a date with my ex-girlfriend, and he's talking shit about my old band because my band. I was in the same band from when I was 12 until I left Jersey for the Rex. He was in a couple of bands, and he was talking shit on my band, and I was like, "Yo, I hate this kid." And then somehow we became friends through school.
About us, so I talked shit about him.
I didn't talk shit about you guys.
Well, that's what I was told, so I'm gonna talk shit back.
It's all right. It's all love now.
Yeah, we're good.
So, wait, how old were you guys when you met then? Elementary school, you said?
When we met, when we were acquainted, I don't know. When were we doing those Battle of the Bands?
7th grade. I don't know.
Yeah, right. We're probably 12,
7th grade.
13. But we didn't get tight until I was 17, 18. Probably more 17, 18. Senior year is when we really got close.
That's because I did skate and surf when I was 14, and that was Fall Out Boy, Paramore, RX Bandits, and shit.
Yeah. You played that? Is that what you said?
That was from that little local contest that it was essentially a pay to play and what band can sell.
That's when Billy peaked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was running around my high school.
See, whoever won, it was a contest, and whoever won got to play on that show.
Yeah, it was essentially whoever sold the most tickets got to play the video.
Right, it wasn't even judge. You're just whoever's dad would buy the most tickets.
It was crazy. We were selling $25 tickets for We're selling $25 tickets for a 15-minute set.
Yeah.
Trying to get people to come so we can watch us play 3 songs.
You're selling tickets to the same 50 family members every 3 weeks.
So whoever had the richest family got to play the show.
That venue was running a killer business with that little bit. He was killing off a bunch.
That guy made a lot of money, but it's a very
off a bunch of 13-year-olds. That's hilarious. Love that
guy. So Billy, have you always played drums? Then was the bands that you're in? You're always the drummer.
Can't play anything else. I want to.
You learned the E chord, the E minor chord.
Oh yeah.
Bro, he slaps that bass.
What about you? What about you, Schmidt? How'd you get into music?
I've always had an interest in guitar since I was literally 5 years old, listening to Motley Crue, and then my parents bought me a guitar when I was 7. And the rest is kind of history. But I mean, I joined a band. I think that's what kept me sticking to it once I got into middle school. And I was with those same dudes until I was 18 and I left for the Rex. But yeah, pretty much it all just started as liking distorted Motley Crue guitars.
Right on. So if you guys grew up together, you and Billy, did you move out to LA together and that's how you connected with Nick and Aaron? How did that all happen?
Well, Billy, you want to tell them how you met Richard and everything?
I met Richard through Facebook. I just messaged him on Facebook, and then he was like, well, what are your plans?
This band owes its beginnings to Facebook, apparently.
Yeah.
Who's Richard? Sorry, I don't.
Manager.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so Richard's your manager. You met Richard. Billy, you met Richard, and that's how you got together?
Yeah, he kind of just asked if I wanted to visit California, and because he had a few bands, I don't know, a few people who were needing drummers or needing people for bands, and it wasn't even the Rex at the time. I went out to California a few times to meet Richard for other projects.
Yeah, so basically Richard puts together a bunch of he starts bands like crazy. He's very good at finding young talent and putting them together and seeing what combinations work of inspirations and influences. And so I met Richard as a writer. I was 18 or 19, and he was having me come up from San Diego where I was going to school. And so I would come up and write, and then Billy was in one of the bands that happened to be there that weekend to write with, and he was 16 and really good at drums. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. And then a couple years later, and this other kid, the original guitarist, that was a different guitarist that was in the band. They were both really good and super young. So years later, when we started the Rex, Aaron and I were looking for members. And we're like, hey, what about Billy Nally and his friend Harrison, who was in the band? And so they were like so down with some of the demos, and they were in. And then they're like, hey, our friend Nick Schmidt plays guitar. Can he come? And I was like, no, we had a different guy. We had a third, So our manager Richard was like, hey, have him send like at least some like riffs that he's written so we can see it. And then he sent over like an 8-minute like kind of
just jamming in his room, jumping around like a madman.
Well, there was
like a video.
Well, no, he sent a video.
There is a video audition also that's really hilarious. I just found it the other day. It's me like in front of my webcam dancing around my bedroom with the coolest outfit I could find.
Charisma audition to see if he had some charisma, I guess. And then he sent an actual audio clip of him playing riffs that he wrote.
Okay.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, this is all of the alt rock and indie rock that I don't have in me naturally. And it was a genre that I was starting to get into at 19 years old, 20 years old. I was like starting to explore it because I grew up on like pop punk music.
What about the video of Schmidt running around shirtless on his roof playing the guitar?
Yes, that's what sold me. So it was, yes, I heard amazing. So we kicked the other guy out. We're like, all right, Schmizz is coming.
Okay, that's funny.
Rehearsed yet, so he wasn't too upset about.
I didn't know any of that situation happened until after living in LA for probably like a week or two. Like, oh yeah, there was another dude before you, and I was like, are you kidding me? I was very flattered.
That's hilarious.
For a second too.
What's that?
It was a different drummer for a second.
There was. I didn't even know.
Like 40 years old.
Yeah, Aaron and I were putting up posters everywhere. We were on Craigslist. We were putting them up in Guitar Center. We were putting them up at rehearsal spaces.
Dude, I don't know if I told you guys this, but
months ago about a Guitar Center thing that he put up like 2 years.
so I did tell you. Yeah, we were on tour like 2 tours ago. So this was like 2 years before I posted the stuff in Craigslist. So I got a call 2 years later asking if we still needed a guitarist because the ad was still up in that same Guitar Center, which is insane.
That was while we were on tour with All Time Low, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You said you were sorry, go ahead, Nick.
It was like, just in time, man. We're on tour right now. We don't even have a guitarist. We're just kind of winging it.
Yeah, perfect. We're on tour with All Time Low. Just jump on with us. That's funny. Nick, you said you were in San Diego going to school? That's where I am. I was curious.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I lived in San Diego for a couple of years. I went to San Diego City College.
Oh, really? I took some classes there too. In downtown?
Yeah. I lived I lived on 25th Street. School. Yeah, I went there. It was a device to leave my small town. I didn't. It's such a small town with lack of exposure. You don't even know the difference between LA and San Diego as far as like businesses and work and opportunities. I did not know the difference. I just thought the West Coast. I just got to be out there. And so I went to San Diego, and I was going to school and took some music classes to appease my mom that I was in school. Played on the baseball team to appease my dad. Everyone's happy. And back in my mind, I'm like, cool. I'm just gonna work on demos in my room and drop out. So that's what I did, and then eventually moved up once we were getting serious about starting a new band.
And then you moved to LA once you got.
Yeah, we moved up and we all moved into our manager's house together, and we started the band there. And we lived there for like almost over 2 years, just kind of like writing together every day, making the. Do you know the story of like the first EP? How that happened the first week we were a band?
No, I wanted to get to that part. Yes, that's kind of where I was going to go with this.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that was the craziest like origin story, because we didn't even realize it was a cool story when it was happening. It wasn't until months and months later. But the guys, Billy and Schmizz, drove across the country in like 2 days somehow, and they were like had barely slept, and we were just there, and then like. They're still recovering on sleep. It was like a day and a half later. We weren't even together in the same room. We weren't even in the same room together for more than 3 days when I got a Facebook message from a friend of Aaron and I's, and she said, "Hey, I'm house sitting for this guy. He's got like a studio in the backyard. It's like oh no, she just said he's got a studio at his house. Do you want to come over and like record a cover or something?" So I thought it was maybe just like a home studio. I'm like, cool, that's more than we got. We have nothing.
So you guys were all living together though. So your manager just kind of put you all together. Like, okay, I got a guitar player and a drummer, and he put you all together, and then you just all.
It was like Aaron and I wanted to start a band, and then I had met Billy and Schmizz Billy years later, and I kind of picked out them. They were just down to do it, but yeah, we were living at his house. We just like moved in, and we were crashing on his couch at the time.
Okay.
So we're crashing on his couch. It's only been 3 days since we've even like all really met, and I mean, Billy, I guess I had met before, but Schmizz, it was a new friend. And so we get a Facebook message, and she's like, "Hey, I'm house sitting for this guy. He's got a studio." We go over there, expecting to like drink some wine and record a cover with her because she's a singer. Mm-hmm. And I walk in, and it's a full studio. It's like in the backyard. It's a separate building. It's like it's got a live drum room. It's got the best mics. So I called the guys and our roommate Andrew, who is an engineer, and he's been producing since he was 14, but he had just but like was an assistant in a studio mm-hmm. where he finally learned how to actually record and do real drums and do the whole thing further than any other. He like literally just got done with this. So I was like, "Hey, you know how to do all this stuff, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I just figured it all out." And he was already doing stuff, but like he really actually knew now, so mm-hmm. They came over, and within an hour we were cutting drums for the first EP because I already had the demos for the first 3 songs, like that first We Are the Rex EP we put out. I had like rough demos, and so we knew the arrangement, we knew the parts, and the guys had never even really played them other than in maybe the audition videos. And
okay. They were by air drumming it on the drive that me and Schmidt were moving across the country.
Yeah, right.
Got the demo, I'm pretty sure, while we were like just getting through Denver to like the Utah area, and I was like, okay, cool.
On your way, right?
Yeah, we got a few demos while we were on the drive across, and we're like, okay, sick.
You talking about Felt and Favorite Liar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Felt was in there.
It's crazy. All the songs I like had prepared so well, we never touched. I think so once I moved out of California, we never heard again.
We full on recorded Felt.
So we there's a lost song in the We Are the Rex EP. We did 4 songs, but we didn't put out the 4th one.
Okay.
Maybe one day, secret release. But so then we go and we're cutting drums within the first hour, and I asked her, I was like, "Hey, so how long do we like? How long is he gone? Like, how long do you have this place?" She goes, "Okay, well, he's gone for like 10 days, but I'm going to be using the space for these days, and I'm not going to be here these days." So she basically gave us 3 days that we could come. And she said we couldn't come during the day, though, because we could only come from 9 p.m. or like 5 p.m. to like 9 a.m. That's when we were allowed to work, because the owner of the house's ex-wife would come to give the diabetic cat its shots. Why we couldn't be there during the day. So we would just, we literally would show up, record all night, drink a lot of Red Bull, order Domino's every single night, and do it. And she was leaving a key under the mat, and we knew it was kind of sketchy, but we didn't know that it was like we were literally sneaking in, like. But we were like, he wasn't there any other time we did it. We were just going to this guy's house using all of his equipment. Luckily, we were really good with his gear, but like, pretty ridiculous that she was letting us do that. And so then on the 3rd day, we've got pretty much everything, and we get a call from the girl who let us in. She goes, "Hey, you guys need to like leave like right now." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, the ex-wife is on her way to the house to give the cat its shots, and you're not supposed to be there. This is all a secret. I'm like, it kind of confirmed the suspicion that it was not okay. And so we panicked, cleaned up all the dominoes we could, wine glasses, like we just put his drumsticks back, the broken ones in his broken drumstick case, like everything. And so then we bolt, and and we make it out of there. If I remember correctly, it was like just in time. Like we were going around the corner as like she like pulled into the thing.
It's like a movie.
Back and we're like, oh my God, we did it. And then Andrew goes, guys, I was working off of his computer. I didn't have time to put it on to an external drive, which is a mistake we would never make again. But we were like, oh my God, that's it. So he's like, we don't have the songs, and we figured we were just like, we were kind of cutting our losses. We were like, whatever, we didn't even pay any money for it, so I guess that sucks, but whatever. But then Andrew's like, no, I got this. And so the next night at 2 a.m, the ex-wife is still at the house, but he like sneaks in the side gate and goes in, leaves all the lights off, goes into the studio, uses his iPhone as a flashlight, plugs in his drive, turns on the computer, and just wait. And he like transferred it over. And I like to picture it. He was vaping a lot at the time, and every time I picture the story, I picture him sitting there in the dark with his giant pistol grip pen, and just like watching it load as he just hits his vape in the dark. That's just like
a silhouette of the smoke going up.
Yeah. So then he transfers it, comes back, and he's got the hard drive in hand, and we've got the songs, and then the hard part started was learning how to mix the songs and edit live drums and edit bass and guitars, something that none of us had ever done, but Andrew had just done it for that producer. And so he taught, like I knew my way around Pro Tools, and so did the other guys from school. So like we just kind of learned how to, he taught us each parts, like, all right, this is how you do drums, this is how you do. And so we just kind of started chopping them up and making it happen that way. It was an interesting process to have all of us on laptops, just like making the song. And Andrew and I just slaved over the mix for like months because we were like checking YouTube tutorials to figure out why it wasn't sounding right, and we didn't know how to, Schmizz and I now do all these crazy production things, but we didn't even know. I didn't even use delays or reverbs yet. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even know that you could. Andrew was a really big help with engineering those sessions and getting it to, where they ended up.
So those are the songs that you ended up releasing.
That's
you guys
turn it up. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So that's all mixed, and that was just all you guys then, huh?
Yeah. That was how the whole thing happened.
Wow. And from there, what did you guys do? Did you tour on those 3 songs? Were you just trying to play around LA?
We put out Favorite Liar the day we were leaving for the Nothing But Thieves tour. The reason we got the tour is because as a favor, they put us on the Troubadour show that they played in LA, because they're on the same management as we are.
Okay.
They're not the type of band to bring out another band just because they're on the same management. So it was kind of like a tryout. Like, so we played the Troubadour, and in the green room after the show, they're like, hey, come on tour with us. And we're like, holy shit. We're just like, yeah. We're just like, yes, yeah, definitely. We didn't have a van, didn't have a trailer, didn't have merch, had nothing. And so we're just like, yeah, definitely. And then, we just got everything around, and Schmizz and I were doing medical studies to some of the, and doing clinical trials, like letting them test unapproved medication. We were just selling our bodies because we didn't want to work. We just wanted to write songs and make music.
Seems like cheating.
It was. It felt like cheating. You get a big check and you're like, cool. I mean, I've got like
I'd literally be like in the van, and I'd get a follow-up phone call from my appointment. They'd be like, so how you feeling? Blah, blah. It would take like 30 seconds, and then it's like $50.
Yeah. All right. My immune system isn't fantastic. It's like 80% now, but like, hell yeah, I got $5,000 in 2014.
I paid rent for 2 months.
So then we hit the road, and the day we hit the road, we put out Favorite Liar, and it was immediately spun on Alt Nation that day. And Allison Hagendorf at Spotify put us on some rock playlists the day it came out. And so we were kind of immediately catapulted into getting some streams. And we just kind of rode that wave, and then more tours happened, and then radio shows, and then festivals, and then more music. But yeah, it was really, really lucky that first song was one that resonated, the first single we put out, and it hit the right people at the right time, and did well for us. Because a lot of people ask like, what, when I'm in a band, like, what should I do in the start? I'm almost just like, all you can tell people is to work hard and be productive, because like we got really lucky, with that first single.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause that single is huge. I mean, they still play it on Alt Nation. I'll hear it and stuff. And I mean, on Spotify, it has 20 million plays. It's crazy.
Yeah, for $0.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's so awesome.
And at the time, I thought the production was really clean. And looking back, it's like, it's cool because it's a garage rock vibe. And I didn't realize that it was garage rock. I thought we really produced something hi-fi there.
So with that next EP, is that Panic Vertigo? That was the next thing you guys released?
Yeah.
And was that also, how did you guys produce that? Was that all done on your own again?
Yeah.
Or did you have somebody come in and help you guys record?
Another story, because we finally were like, cool, we signed a record deal and we had a budget now. And we're like, cool, we're going to spend a budget on a producer and do it for real this time. And so we did that. And he's the producer we worked with is really talented, but it was like, we had never done that before. In fact, I had never worked with another producer on, well, I guess one other time in my life, but it wasn't something we were really used to. And so we were just kind of using him as like the green light. Like if he says it's cool, no matter what, it was just like, you fall into like a hole of kind of submission when you're doing that.
I feel like we all felt like he was supposed to transform the songs.
Yeah. And like he was going to
experience, he knew what was right, what was.
Yeah, they might as well have been like remixes by the time like they were done, because we were just trying to go so far out with it. Then we're like, oh wait, what happened to the songs?
and to be fair, it was like we were hearing a lot of conflicting opinions. Like the label loved the song, but then our manager said they were too maybe pop punk, and like there was just a lot of we were given references for influences that didn't sound like the songs at all. So then we were trying to force the songs to be something they weren't. And so after 4 weeks of recording this guy, I remember it was on my birthday. Our managers came to listen on the last day, and they were like, you guys ruined the songs. And so we had like 6 more hours to try to save them. And then we didn't. And so then we had no money for the EP. We'd blown the budget. And so we decided to, I reached out to my buddy Pat from back home. He's got a barn studio near my hometown, and he's a really nice guy, and the studio's really nice. And I remember him saying, like, if you guys ever need this space, you can use it. And so I took him up on it, and we ended up going there, and we did the Panic Vertigo EP in this barn studio and just did it ourselves again. The same exact team. Andrew came along, and we did it just the same way we did the first one.
That's crazy.
Actually, we had no money again.
Yeah, so the label paid all that money for you guys to try to write or put you in the studio for that amount of time with these producers that were
I'm really, really glad it happened. But it was a little learning experience, because like we were given influences to do this and that. And it seemed so obvious, like we make the music that we want, and we work really hard on it until it's something that everyone's on board with. And learning that, not a producer's not gonna like, I don't know, it just taught me to like go back to like trusting your own taste and doing it yourself. And I'm really glad that happened, because I forced myself to get way better production and work really hard at it. Until now, it wouldn't even make sense for us to go to a producer until we have a ridiculous album budget. We want to work with like one of the like dream producers that is like.
And the songs will already be practically. The songs will be as there as we would have ever made them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And having control of your whole creative process is like so fun, and it's so rewarding.
Is that what you guys did with the new record, Infinitely Ordinary? Was that done with your
mostly in here?
Wow.
And this is there's nice lights and cool little foam, but it sounds like shit in here, and there's not a lot of great gear, but we had all the time we wanted. We weren't renting a studio space. There was no pressure. God, I swear to God, every time we try to record music, there's a story to it, because we went back to that barn after the Panic Vertigo EP to make the album in the summer of 2018, and we were there for 4 months, and we set out to record 28 songs.
Wow.
And we worked on over 30. We ended up recording and fully mixing over 20. And then we kept 3 of them, but
Yeah, right.
the recordings.
That was a long 4
recording
months.
4 months we actually kept, because we were writing, we were exploring, we were just like, we thought we were making an album, but in hindsight, Billy was watching Narcos, and we were watching him watch Narcos.
We ripping Pat's 4-wheel gator around his backyard, shooting BB guns.
Yeah, but like without that experience, I don't think we would have even like figured out who we are now. Because I mean, the sound has taken a huge leap, obviously. But I feel like all those 30 songs, like you'd probably be able to more consistently see the transition from like that lo-fi, more pop punky pop stuff to like everything it's become now, whatever you want to call that vibe.
You have to produce 60, 70, 100 songs before you get to that transition, because it sounds like,
Right.
wow, they really stepped it up this next album. It's like, no, we took like, it was a fucking staircase, okay? It was like, it took a while to get up there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, are any of those 30 songs on the new record, or you scrapped all of them?
This Life I Have, we recorded like in a few hours. And that was there. And then Freaking Out was mostly done kind of on the road, because we had done, Schmizz and I wrote it with this guy, Tom Payton, and we made the demo. And then I just kind of kept working on the demo during my downtime and during tour. And then when we brought it to the barn, we just did live drums and recut some acoustics and maybe a rhythm guitar. So there wasn't much to do on that. It was just about cleaning it up and getting it mixed. And then we did Feel So Nice. But we ended up reproducing it because and then listening back to the old one, I'm like, oh, it's so bad. And I used to think it was like amazing. So I'm really glad we
We
did
did drums for that song like 3 times.
Yes. Quite a few times.
Have you guys got to tour or play any shows on the new record yet, or did that all get shut down?
Yeah, no.
We toured right before Christmas, and we played about 3 of the new songs on the album. 4?
Over song.
Fvck Somebody, Out of Style.
Life I Have and Freaking Out.
Oh yeah, This Life I Had. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been playing this.
Oh, half the album.
It's so easy. There's not much
We
to it.
used to not even have enough content to fill a headlining set with only released songs, so we had to be playing whatever our favorites were that we had written at the time.
Yeah, we went on our first headliner right after that All Time Low tour, and we only had that first EP out that we did when we stuck into the studio. So we did a full headlining tour of 38 cities with 3 songs out, and we sold out like maybe a 1/6 of them. You know what I mean? Like we sold out almost, I think, like 8 of the shows, and I was like, it just felt like that's normal. You don't know until looking back that like that shouldn't have happened, but it did somehow.
That's how it felt. Everything about the first EP. I moved out to California and everything, and then all of a sudden it just felt like overnight favorite liars on the radio. I'm just thinking I moved out to LA. This is like how things work. This is great. It's cool. And then realized after this big high of everything that no, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. And we really, really got lucky there. Right place, right time, and it's the right song.
Yeah, the right song. Well, with that first EP, you said that was the reason why you got put on the show with Nothing But Thieves, right? Through your manager.
Yeah.
And you did it. They asked you to go on tour. If you only had the 3 songs, how that seems like it was pretty quickly. How many songs did you guys have, and how long were you able to play?
Well, as soon as Schmizz moved out, we immediately started writing together. Schmizz and I do the bulk of the song, all the songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I almost said the bulk of, because I was trying to give Aaron and Billy some credit. Guys, I tried there.
Thanks, dude.
But
we do all of the writing.
Schmizz and I were writing a ton right away, and just kind of exploring each other's, influences, and making songs that, definitely they all kind of fit, in my head. They're all very much at that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool to watch me be so pop punk, but trying not to be, and him be so rock, and me wanting him not to be. So it was really interesting. And we were writing a ton, so we had a bunch of songs to play live, and we would throw in. We had 1 cover, but it wasn't even a cover "Hello" by Lionel Richie, so it wasn't even like a cover that people would like sing along to in the first line. So like it was yeah, we're always writing and we're always producing demos, and now we're always just producing full songs. So it's like it's just been that way since the band started. We've always had enough to fill a headlining set. Even when we only had 8 songs out, we had to do an hour set.
So with the new record, like you said, you've only got to play a few of the songs live, and then it shut down. Everything got shut down as far as like, did you have a tour and everything else booked and ready to go?
Yeah, we were gonna support the Driver era on a
Oh wow,
America tour, and then that was starting in April 1st or something like that, and then it was April to May, and then we were gonna probably headline in the fall. Maybe try to pick up a summer tour, some festivals or something, and then tour in the fall. And now we just don't even know, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to extend this era as long as we can too. That's a difficult part. So I think that I kind of teased this on Twitter yesterday, but we're looking to do eventually put out a deluxe version of the album instead of moving on to like an EP or something, because we have to put out 12 songs to finish the first record. Our record deals, it's 12 songs for an album, so we have to complete that cycle by putting out 4 more songs. And instead of putting out another EP and then you're touring on like this era and then all of a sudden this new vibe and branding, like we didn't want to do that. So, and instead of just throwing some bonus tracks on the album, we're like writing right now and working really hard on 4 new singles. So it's like we're not just tacking stuff on the album. It's like, no, things are going again, like the rest we're putting out singles, and we're gonna make them better, try to make them better than the other songs on the album,
Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna add those to the current record and re-release it.
Yeah,
rad.
So that way we can live in that era and get to experience our first album the way we have always dreamed of.
Totally, yeah. It's unfortunate that this, whole thing kind of shut down. I mean, the whole world, really, and especially for guys like you, that's just your career is touring around and playing music for people.
For like the aspect, it hurts, but I really like that we put out the album during this time, because especially with the state of things and most people's anxieties right now are because they don't have anything to look forward to. And it's you don't have anything promised, and no one knows what tomorrow looks like. So it's like when you have like an album that we've been hyping for 3 years, like, and it's something that there's a date. There was a date for it. There's an actual day and time that like they knew they could look forward to, and something was gonna come out. It just like gave me, and I'm sure the guys and like a lot of our fans, like a purpose for a second, something to look forward to, something to like put on the calendar, something to like. Something that made sense for a moment. And I really like that was something that people could look forward to when there's literally nothing to look forward to right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that. I really like that. Are you guys doing the Instagram live things or able to jam it all together since you're in kind of the same area, I guess?
We finally are. Billy and Schmizz were in Jersey for a bit.
Yeah, I was back home for 2 weeks, and now I've been back here for the last few weeks.
Yeah, we've all been quarantined, so we're kind of we've all been alone. So if we've been alone for long enough, we got together like yesterday, and we're starting to get back in the groove of things. So hopefully we'll go do real live sessions together.
Yeah, we were doing individual live streams, which is just it's such an anxiety-ridden thing. It's so awkward, weird, and difficult. And I think I pride myself on being comfortable in those situations. It is the worst thing. I hate it.
Yeah.
What? It's just scary because you're live to the whole internet.
You're literally talking to yourself.
Yeah, and like the thing is, if people couldn't see me, I think I'd be fine with it, because I do like we have a Discord, like we have a whole group of fans on Discord and a community there, and I'll do these like talk like a chat on there. It's a voice chat. And I just sit here with the mic and I talk and I read the chat, and that's all it is. I don't need no one's usually you need that like conversation, but like that's for some reason easy and it's fun. But like Instagram lives, even though it's the same fans, it's just nerve wracking and I hate it. I would rather pass up 60 people on Instagram live and do be a festival stage in front of 60,000. Like I would way rather and be way less nervous too. Like I don't understand why, but it's just how it is.
Even if you were playing a song on Instagram live, instead of just being like, "Hey, everybody!" Like if you just came out and said, "Okay, I'm going to play," whatever.
Especially that, because I've got a really good band. I'm not the guy who plays the things, so then I'm all of a sudden like playing the kid. I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm like, my heart's beating really fast. I don't have even when I sing along to a track, I set it up so like I could run Pro Tools and then they could hear the tracks and I could put effects on everything and make it really cool. Even doing that, I'm like, something about having it be live and be with the guys. I have so much confidence on stage because I have confidence in my band. Like that's the only reason why I feel fearless in front of. I would rather do 60,000 people because I'm like.
I was gonna describe that feeling as like every time I would go live, I've had the nervousness as if I was about to go play a show, but then I click the live button and I feel like I just walk out on stage, but like I don't have anything to do. So like you have to feel that with like I made a puppet to take the pressure off of me, like on the spot. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna make a sock puppet right now. And I named him Mr. Schnickelfritz, and like he's become a hit. But I literally just used this sock puppet just so that I didn't have to like feel pressured to like know what to say. So I just made him say a bunch of nonsense. And,
it kind of feels like a dream where you're in class and you've got no pants on.
Yeah, right.
That's what
I think I picked the right route because I made alcoholic beverages, so I was just drunk every single time. So it's just
at least you were comfortable.
Yeah.
Played blackjack with people once.
Like blackjack? How did you do that?
I got a like a PS4 casino game, the one that I used to play at Pat's all the time.
Wait, so you just played blackjack and then they watched you?
No, I brought somebody in and then I was like, "Oh, we have this hand in this situation. What would you do?"
You're like, Billy, this is Animal Crossing. What are you talking about? Right.
Well, I don't know what that game is. I've been seeing so much about it. I don't know what it is.
You don't have a Switch?
I do have a Switch. I just don't want to play it.
Oh, get on it, dude.
Oh yeah, I see people tweeting, "Oh, someone came and watered my flowers, or fed my pet."
That's actually a euphemism.
That's funny. Well, guys, you've been great. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Thank you for having us. It's
Yeah.
fun to do.
I want to know if I can get an answer from all you guys on my last question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
I would keep it quite simple and just say like longevity is key, and like even when it sucks, just keep going. And like it sounds cliche, but believe in yourself.
Things happen.
I feel like that's what's gotten me through anything. Is literally something as simple as that.
Dig it.
Aaron,
Billy.
I don't know. I always say things happen for a reason, so everything's gonna get better. Things have to go down and go up.
Yeah, dude, it's all about like just grinding hard and like meeting the right people and just, I don't know. It's like, yeah, finding the right people and like learning from that.
Cool.
Market yourself.
I definitely agree with Aaron about like connections and meeting people and asking a lot of questions, you know. Like ask a million questions because like you need to be a student first. But also I think a really important thing is when people start, they look at the bands that they dream to be, and they see the end goal, and they just want it right away. And then they base their happiness based on that. They base their happiness based on followers and streams and how well they're doing in the moment. And I think a piece of advice I would give is try to measure your happiness in your productivity. Like how did you make progress today? Like what did you do today that like did you get better at the thing, or did you at least work on your craft and work on your skill? Because if you end the day feeling like you put the time in, then that is making it. Because then you stack that together, you get your 10,000 hours becomes 30,000 hours. becomes 50,000. And then, before you know it, when you've been asking questions and meeting people and making connections and getting better at what you do, just through, taste, talent, and hard work, like you can get there. And to Billy and Schmizz's point about, like, as cliche as it is to say, like, believe in yourself, there's so much strength in that I don't think people realize, because you can say, like, I believe in myself, like I really do, but like there's a difference between that and literally being stupid enough to believe in yourself like it's actually going to happen. Like, you need to be dumb enough to think that you're going to be the person that makes it, that you're going to be.
That's the thing I went through. I didn't even realize I was going through that. Like, growing up, like, my parents would be like, you have no idea how hard it is, blah blah blah. Pretty much, like, it kind of felt like a negative pressure at some points, just like, but for some reason it never scared me. Like, I was never scared of it, and I didn't realize I wasn't scared of it until all of a sudden I was there, and I was like, obviously there's plenty further to go, but like,
that's the thing. It's like, that's what you need to have, is like that weird, I call it naive optimism, where you're dumb enough to be that hopeful. And it's like, you don't even think of a plan B, or you don't even think of the idea of like, oh yeah, well, maybe not. Because what happens is you make excuses and you cut corners, and you don't set yourself up to succeed because you're not really committed to it. I think that when you truly believe in yourself, you make a lot of micro decisions that get you there. Because if Schmizz and I didn't, we wouldn't do medical studies. We would have just gotten jobs because, like, it's fine. Like, we're gonna make this band thing happen, but like, I gotta pay rent, so like, I'm gonna go to job. I'm not gonna. No, we were like, no, we need to make the music now and go on tour soon. So we're gonna go do medical studies and let them test on our bodies. Not saying that that's what you have to do to make it, but it's like decisions like that where you don't make excuses and say, oh, it's fine. The next thing is like, it's always right now, and there's no better time than right now. And
before I joined this band, sorry, Nick.
You're good. If you do that every day with that mindset, that like, stop waiting, and if you're someone who believes in yourself, no one could tell you, like, no one could discourage you. Like, I would tell a kid, if he was like, hey, like, what do I do to make it? I would be like, give up. Because the kid who goes, all right, yeah, I'm not gonna make it, that's not for him. But the boy or girl who says like, wait, fuck you, he's not talking to me, he's talking to everyone else. No, like, that's, if you're watching a YouTube video and they go, give up, like, cool, they're talking to all the other audience, I'm it's like, that's such a characteristic that I find in so many people who are successful. It's like, you never feel like the person's telling you to give up, because you're like, oh yeah, everyone else should, because like, there's not even an option for me. It doesn't even make sense.